there, welcome back to my channel. And if I haven't gotten an opportunity to share at an earlier date, which would have been December 31st, Happy New Year's to you. Because it is now January 2nd, 2025. I can hardly believe it. I did last come on December 31st and wanted to wish everyone that was checking out the video on that day a Happy New Year. So just definitely wanted to actually now say it in the actual new year. So definitely Happy New Year's to you. I hope that it is getting off to a productive start for you, a desired start for you as well. Unfortunately, there has been some things that we have been hearing about that's been going on, in particular in the news, and some real life stuff that's been going on. It's just unfortunate that we are entering a new year with these types of actions and stuff. So definitely prayers up to everyone in all of those instances, and continued prayers to you and your family as well. So yeah, I thought that to start off the new year, I wanted to do a story of, well, perseverance and what it means to take pain and put it into action, if you will. And there are lots of stories that I enjoy reading about because I get inspired by them. I get, certain things about them that really just takes into account the human spirit and how people can take different situations and make them into things that can help other people in those same unfortunate circumstances. So as you can see here on the screen, as well as the title, we're going to be talking about Mr. Joe Petito, which is Gabby Petito's father. As we all very much know, that her unfortunate unaliving case went worldwide, had a lot of coverage that took place. And so we are really fully familiar with that particular situation. But just to give just a small synopsis, Gabby Petito was a young girl, I believe she's 21, 22 years old, who had aspirations of creating her van life content for YouTube, as well as a website that she was putting together at the time in order to basically document her travels and her adventures in the van life space. She did go out on that trek with her boyfriend, I think actually fiance at some point. And unfortunately, things turned very tragic, and she was unalived. And from what all things point to, obviously, her fiance. He is no longer with us as well. So all of this got a lot of coverage. There's also, continued interest in the fact of what may happen or would have happened to the parents of Brian, which was the fiance, and, whether their alleged culpabilities or associated with her passing, whether it be, for information known about the situation and not being helpful into getting to the bottom of what happened to Gabby. So all of that, as you would have known, took place all in 2021 into 2022, and lots of coverage did come across in regarding this case. The last that I am familiar with is, I believe there was a lawsuit brought against Brian's parents in regards to association with, after the fact. I don't know exactly how that turned out. I may have to do a check to see. If you are familiar, you were following it, definitely feel free to share it down in the comment section below, because I would definitely like to know myself. I remember when the lawsuit was kicking up, may have been like late 2022, early 2023, something to that extent, but I don't know what the end result is. And I do believe it was a civil suit at that point. So again, I would have to do an additional checking just to know for sure. But again, also, if you are familiar, feel free to drop that down below. Now, in addition to Gabby's disappearance and unfortunate unaliving and tragic unaliving, there was also a groundswell of conversation associated to the amount of coverage given to Gabby Petito's case. Now, this is nothing that's directed directly to her and her situation, because it is a very tragic one, and nothing that any parent, no matter what color, creed, gender, what have you, should have to experience this type of a tragedy. So the conversation associated was more or less in regards to how much attention is also given to individuals that are non-white, so Black and brown people as well. And obviously the data was showing that there was definitely not a fair comparison of the two. And we didn't really need to really actually see data by numbers to know that, right? We can see with our eyes what actually is presented and provided. Now, there was lots of conversation associated with that. There was also a situation coined the missing white woman syndrome. And so this all really kind of bubbled up as conversation along with this tragic situation. So there was a lot of YouTubers, a lot of content creators on TikTok as well, who would actually do their part really in trying to bring awareness to all individuals, that were missing, and still keeping the, how should I say, the empathy in the space for Gabby's situation as well, right? Because at the end of the day, we're looking at equal coverage for these types of situations. And so lots came about that. And it also brought Joseph Petito, being the father of Gabby, to speak on it as well, and actually put some of that horrific situation into a form of advocacy, and allowing the foundation that was established for Gabby Petito's situation in order to help in helping others to find missing and brown and Black people as well. And so that I thought was something that was I find quite remarkable, to use the platforms that was established for his daughter, and to be able to use those as resources to help others. Because in the world of humankind, period, we are here to help others. We are here to be an advocate for each other as well as ourselves. And no one person, no matter of the situation, is more important than the other. So these are the messagings that now will come to fruit as we get more individuals doing the work and providing and sharing the many stories of the numerous amount of missing men and women all over this country. So I'll also be providing some information down in the description area if you would like to take a look, or have any information of anything that we find it to be useful in order to make contact about anything in regards to anyone that may be, provided on missing lists or anything to that nature, any information or whatnot. And definitely I will have that information down below that you can definitely make sure you make contact with or share with anyone that you feel is necessary. Obviously, when we're out here on YouTube, you never know where your video may go and who may actually come upon it. So definitely want to make sure that any kind of contact information that may be helpful, if that is something that someone can provide, I will connect that down in the description area below. Also, I have a lot of information that I like to keep readily available in the description area. So if you do watch my videos, hopefully you will take a look and peruse down the description area as well, because there's always a lot of information that's provided in there as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this story. I think this was a good story for the beginning of the new year, and should set the tone, in my opinion, of all of us continuing to help one another through time of need, and also lifting one another up in time of need as well as in celebration of each other. And this is not by far one instance where people are doing work in helping for awareness for all individuals in the missing spaces. Is just, again, one sharing one story. I do want to actually get into providing more of these sharings and types of stories throughout the year. So, definitely stay tuned for that as well, because as I share on this channel, we're talking about recaps, reviews, and worthy news. And that could be celebrity, non-celebrity, as you can see here. So with that, let's go ahead and get into that sharing. And let's go ahead and see where we are actually coming from. So this actually is coming from Blavity. And it shares that Gabby Petito's father advocates for missing Black and brown people to take on missing white woman syndrome. Now, when Gabby Petito went missing in 2021, it garnered nationwide headlines about her disappearance and her death. And many believed her boyfriend unalived her. 3 years later, her father, Joseph Petito, plans to advocate for missing Black and brown people, racial groups that receive less media coverage than their white counterparts. Now, taking on missing white woman syndrome. Joseph was inspired to change the narrative around missing white women syndrome, a term created by news anchor Gwen Ifill about missing white women and how they receive media coverage on a larger scale than missing Black and brown men and women, CNN had reported. I did a deep dive into it, Joseph told CNN. I looked at popular missing person cases, and the ones that hit the mainstream all look the same. It's really not equal. According to 2022 FBI data, Black people make up 13% of the US population and 31% of the missing reports. In contrast, white people make up 75% of the US population and accounts for 54% of missing reports. Let me put that again. According to 2022 FBI data, Black people make up 13% of the US population and 31% of the missing reports. In contrast, white people make up 75% of the US population and accounts for 54% of missing reports. So therein lies, you can see the contrast right there in the data that was shared from 2022 FBI data. So as you can see, there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of opportunity in order to bring awareness to all cases, no matter what the race, gender, creed, or any physical situation is of the individual. So on one case in particular that Joseph plans to shed light on is Daniel Robinson, a 24-year-old Black geologist who went missing in Arizona in June of 2021. His and Gabby's disappearances were months apart, even though the news about her dominated the airwaves and other media avenues. Despite receiving local coverage, Daniel's father, David Robinson, said his son's case was not taken as seriously as Gabby's. David also said he spent months pleading with police about their search efforts to find his son. You wish you lived in a world where everything was equal, but it's really not equal, Robinson had told CNN at the time. So at this point, this is where Joseph Petito comes in to play in regards to how he can look to allow for an opportunity for the foundation that was established for Gabby to be lended, in help for these particular situations where there's missing children of all races. So let's go ahead and get into some of those particulars here. Now, the Gabby Petito Foundation helps families of missing Black and brown people. David has not stopped searching for his son since his disappearance. He plans to go to Arizona next year to launch a team of volunteers to search new areas and follow up with leads per CNN. The only difference now is that Joseph is his newest ally in the search of Daniel. Joseph is also using the Gabby Petito Foundation, a nonprofit organization that raises awareness about missing people and domestic violence, to shed light on missing Black and brown people nationwide. The foundation partners with the families of missing persons and other organizations like the Black and Missing Foundation that are dedicated to highlighting these cases, CNN had reported. What Mr. Petito has done for my family, it means a lot to me, Robinson said, because he had a tragedy. And it's amazing when a person can take a tragedy and make something big out of it, become an advocate and help people. Because at the end of the day, this is most certainly not a club that anyone, I feel, in my opinion, would want to be a part of. So for Joseph Petito doing the work and helping in any way that he could for this particular case and many others is really a godsend situation. And I think it's also an example when other people are doing the same thing as well. And like I said, this is one story, one sharing in place of this particular action, but there are so many individuals who work tirelessly to help and find any information, sharing information, and in hopes to locate and bring missing people home, or to at least have some closure to these cases to bring to the families. And so all of this is, in my point of view, God's work, and I definitely appreciate those who do take the time to get invested and involved in situations such as these. So they're all tragic situations. to boot, and to have people kind of come together and help. It can only be an advocate to the situation and not a hindrance. So yeah, that being said, I definitely would love to know your thoughts about this sharing. Of course, with the nature of the sensitivity of this sharing, I just definitely ask for your continued thoughtful and respectful commentary below, as you always do, and I so greatly appreciate that. You never know who will come across, or who will see the video. Not necessarily could be anyone from either one of the individuals' families and friends, but it could also be other individuals who are dealing with this type of situation. So we definitely want to keep the sensitivity, which I know that you guys will, and so I do appreciate that in advance. And I definitely will have some information down in the description area as well of this video, so go ahead and definitely check it out. And I will have the reference for the Gabby Petito Foundation down there as well, if you would like to access information about that, and that's fine as well. And also for the Black and Brown Foundation for the missing as well. So all those things will be down below. Again, I thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you for taking the time to take a view here. As always, I appreciate and just enjoy the time with you. So with that, I think I'm going to bid you adieu for this video. I'm definitely going to be coming back with 2 more videos for today. So I hope that you will make sure you have your notification bells on, and be here to share your thoughts. And yeah, I just got a lot of things to conversate with you about. I am doing a little bit of a clearing out, if you will, because there were some stories that I wanted to share with you that have kind of been shared slightly anyways, out there in the ether, if you will. And I, have some thoughts myself and wanted to bring it to you and for the conversation as well. So I'm doing a little bit of catch up. Of course, we just got over the holiday hump, and I do have my 12 days of a Christmas scandalous story as well. I did a series in that for the last 12 days, roughly, so the 13th to the 24th of December. So if you haven't had an opportunity to take a look at those videos, I hope that you will. I do have a playlist as well for them. And basically, it's just taking us an opportunity to take a nostalgic run to other stories that were of considered scandalous nature, and going through those and kind of reminiscing about those as well, and sharing our thoughts as well. So definitely, if you hadn't had opportunity and you like to do, get into that kind of content, for sure, go ahead and binge that playlist. I also did a video on New Year's Eve that was in regards to some of my picks for a fun bingeable movie for New Year's. And as we are still within the first week of New Year's, it's only January 2nd, I like to carry on that tradition of watching those videos all the way through the first week at least, right? It's still newness of the year, and it still gives a lot of inspiration into whatever we're doing. So and it's kind of my take on my thoughts of how resolutions can go as well. I had a little conversation about that too, so I won't go through it here, but definitely you will get to see that in the video from New Year's Eve. So I think with that being said, I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you again for being here, and definitely keep your notification bell on, and I will see you in the next video. And of course, if you are new here and you haven't had an opportunity to subscribe, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Be part of the family, be part of the community. I would so love to have you. So with that, yeah, I will talk to you later. Bye.